What's going on, people? What's up? What's up? What's up? In case I didn't tell y'all last week, Happy New Year. Happy 2022. Big things happening. What's going on, fam? Terry, Chevy, DJ. How y'all doing?
Tired, boss.
I'm good, y'all. What's up?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do this.
Well, so okay, you know how we always start this show off, y'all. Welcome to No Clue, everybody. The show where we have no clue what the heck is going on, what we doing. We just living our life like it's golden. You know, we living our best life. We ain't going back and forth with you. So, Chevy, how was your week this week?
You you scared me for a minute.
Right.
My week was pretty good. I've just been in deep thought this week. I'm grateful for this new year. Great things are happening. Doors are opening, and the other ones are closing. They need to be closed. Praise the Lord.
All right now, Terry, how's your week?
I'm tired, boss.
That's all she got. That's it.
What you been doing? What done made you tired?
Working and moving, and
Oh.
I'm tired. I'm moving an hour away from where I live. I'm tired.
And you a mommy, because I just heard mommy.
I'm a mama.
You ain't gonna get to being a wife.
I'm a mommy of 4.
I know 3 who. You know what? Don't do my brother like that. What my Kaz? Are you watching? She talking about you, bruh.
Probably is watching.
DJ, how your week?
My week was good. We celebrated a couple Founders Day, so shout out to Kappa Alpha Psi for J5 and shout out to Phi Beta Sigma for J9.
Blue.
So, enjoying Founders Day, enjoying kicking it, super excited about what's happening with our shout out to our sister, Brandy Artist, and shout out to what she got going on. So it's just some dope stuff. I'm trying not to laugh even though I see it, but I'm gonna keep on going.
Okay.
So it's some really good stuff. About to get back into this PhD thing because school did start back this week, so I got to get caught up on some homework. But other than that, the food is good.
That's what's up, y'all. So first of all, hey niece, we saw you pick your head in and wave at us. We want to make sure.
Hey.
Yeah, he called me a jerk in my text messages.
Wow.
He said, you a jerk. My week has been. It's been a roller coaster week, y'all. I got a flat tire, right, in my work car. It looked like I ran over a Coca-Cola bottle. That the screw was that big, like it was a giant screw. It took them 2 days to repair my gum car, y'all. 2 days to change a tire. Then second of all,
Hey,
you
Kay.
came in just in
Hey,
time.
Kay.
Talk about you. Secondly, I finished my second book, y'all. I have finished it. It's finna go to proofreading and all that great stuff, editing. So my second book is getting ready to come out. I'm so excited about that. It's been 2 years in the making. And then today I got some good news. My heart, my baby girl, got the job of her dreams. She is going on to train. She's going to be a flight attendant flying the friendly skies. Shout out to our girl Kay for making stuff happen.
Woo!
I'm so
Okay.
proud of you.
Okay, put me down as your spouse so I can get some benefits.
Wait a minute, you can't be doing that. Don't do my daughter like that. My daughter can't put you as her spouse. Leave my daughter alone. So congratulations, Kay. We are proud of you. You're one of our faithful watchers. So we celebrate with you. We so proud. Look at her. Thank y'all. I can see her saying that in her country voice.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so y'all, we finna get ready to get this show started. We finna go to my favorite segment of the show. Say what?
Say what?
Okay, so on say what? Let's talk about this Ahmaud Arbery case, the sentencings. How y'all feel about that?
I feel like Fox News is some punks because they ain't even show it. It wasn't even. They didn't show it on Fox News at all.
They didn't. But it was on. Well, if you have a Hulu account, it was on live on Hulu.
Come through Hulu. Shout out to you, Hulu. Rakia says something. I mean, so I think it's the first step. Like, they're not officers because, officers is open season on us with the police. But I'm glad that somebody sent up, especially in the state of Georgia. I'm from Georgia, so I can say that, we might be a blue state, but we recently blue. I think we might be a little purple right now. We still got a little red hanging in there. So I'm glad that justice is being served. And then for the judge to give the father and the son life without parole, that to me, that was a serious sentencing right there. Because that's like, you ain't giving them no hope for jokes. Now, I think the dude who filmed it should have got life without parole, but I get it. You just filmed it, so but you still got life with possibility of parole. What's that, 25 years? At his age, he might not make 25 years. And if he going to the penitentiaries in Georgia, he might not make it 25 days.
Well, dang.
I'm just saying.
Oops.
I'm saying. Who mostly occupies the prisons?
And yeah, they still have to go federal. So Lord
They
knows
better
what
hope they
happens
go into a
after
federal
that.
pen. So
I mean, I
DJ,
just hope his mom can finally get some rest a little bit, and we can get past. I mean, DJ thoughts.
I mean, I think it's a long time coming. It's a first step. Hopefully, it won't be the last step in these type of situations. But we have had a rough past couple of years, despite the pandemic, just as people of color, with these type of things happening to us and having to constantly fight and march for things that, like going back in time and doing this stuff all over again. So, I definitely think it's a step in the right direction. Like I said, hopefully it won't be the last step because too many people have been getting off for doing these things, and it's heinous, it's out of control, and America with triple Ks. And that's all I got to say about that.
Miss Churchy.
It never seems like enough, you know. It's hard to voice an opinion on something that you feel like doesn't necessarily matter. If y'all get what I'm saying. Um, I'm glad that it definitely is a step in the right direction, but it just never seems like enough, to see that family hurting like that and just all the lives that we've lost as far as our community is concerned. It's very touchy for me. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like enough.
So
yeah,
I don't know. Go ahead, Robert. I don't know what you were about to say.
I was gonna say I can see where y'all are coming from because my thoughts go to my godson, future kids. When I
Yeah.
have kids, like, do my kids have to walk around with bulletproof vests on their bodies, always walking like this everywhere they go? Even then, you still can get shot. Like, I don't want my kids to grow up in a society like I gotta be scared to go anywhere because if I leave, I can't say leave my house. If I stay in my house, I could be shot. If I go for a jog around the neighborhood, I could be shot. If I go buy Skittles and a drink, I could be shot. If I get pulled over and the cop doesn't like what I look like, I can be shot. It's like there's it's life or death for our young folks. And I just
Yeah.
don't like even for me, I consider myself still part of the younger generation. Um, it's open game on us. Like when you get pulled over, you literally are petrified. Like, do I
Mm-hmm.
need to call my mama? Do I need to call somebody and have somebody on the phone with me? To or as soon as they say, do you know I have no weapons, no drugs, no alcohol in this car. My hands are on the steering wheel. My fingerprint. Like, why?
Do you think that sentencing is going to spark something else?
I think I think it's possible, but I think a lot of people are at least satisfied with knowing that there was something done because in a lot of these situations there's nothing. So for some of us it's like, oh, this is a step. This is at least something, we're getting somewhere. But I think if something was going to happen, like as far as our community is concerned, we would have probably already seen it. If y'all don't notice, we respond quickly. Like
Mm,
Depends. Depends on
when
the
something happens, a
situation.
lot of times within 24 48 hours, something somewhere is happening, especially that group of people. My dad, he makes fun of me. He calls me his little activist because I ain't gonna lie. If they do something, I'm going. I'm just gonna be honest. He always is like, you need to be safe. But I feel like at this point, I don't think anything's gonna happen. I don't know if there's anything that can be done. It's kind of one of them situations like we lost a life, but like nothing that we do will bring that life back. And that's the horrible part about it. For me, I think about my three little brothers. So it's a very touchy thing for me. Those are three young black men that could be in the same situation. It sucks.
I mean, it's just tricky. And then I asked that question because, you got to think about the George Floyd case. Why didn't they get sentenced the same way? I know they're on different spectrums, but why wasn't they sentenced the same way? Why wasn't that case treated
You
just
just
like
said it.
this case? So, and I don't know if y'all heard about the lady that just died in the prison cell with the cop standing over her laughing, watching her die. What are they going to do about that? So that's why I asked that question.
So I think, so you guys are we gonna do something? I'm thinking that our counterparts may do something.
Oh, now
They may
that
lash out because you got the cop who was sentenced in the in the Joy Floyd case. Then you got these three men, so they feel like, well, they marched, they rallied, they did this. We can do the same thing, but we just know. And I'm being just looking at statistics. We marched peacefully. Okay, when we marched in Washington D.C., we didn't break into the Capitol and start doing and basically kidnap the senators and congressmen in there.
and
Go ahead, DJ. You said and.
and we wouldn't have been able to get that close without being shot.
Well,
Absolutely
if
not.
you
So
saw,
let's call a thing a thing. We wouldn't have been able to get that close in proximity. We saw them literally scaling the building in real time. If those were people of color, they would have been shot down with
Yeah.
the intention to kill. There would have been no grace. It would have been any exception. There would have been no expectation of even thinking or seeing the things that we see. Then they had the mitigated gall to have a visual for these people that did what they did a few days ago, like, it's some type of patriotic response. And it's not. It's domestic terrorism. And it's a constant form of domestic terrorism with a honing in of a certain people of a certain demographic of a certain nature, which has historically been the case with this particular country, even down to its foundation. What was that? That was genocide. You wiped out a whole entire group of people and claimed something for yourself that has never been yours. And in the midst of doing those things, throughout this entire historical record, we see this constant stream of these same actions occurring. And then we're supposed to be at fault, right? We're supposed to not feel a certain kind of way. We're not supposed to be allowed to be angry. We're not supposed to be allowed to be able to voice our concerns or our opinions about it. And people are tired of that. That's why I said America KKK. And I stand by that.
and I'm gonna stick beside them.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because we would not have even been able to touch a strand of grass on that yard.
well, when we had the march recently in Washington D.C., they had the National Guard lined up around the Capitol. Mind you, we were just marching peacefully, and the guard was on every step at the Capitol. So why were they not out there for this event?
They were there.
I'm gonna say,
Don't
who said
don't
they
don't
were there?
let's not mistake. They were there, which is exactly my point. in the difference in circumstances because you got the complexion for protection.
Oh, I like that.
That is my phrase. You can't be stealing my phrase.
It is what it is.
I mean, but it's the
I mean,
truth
but
though. If
let's
you
call a
got the
thing a
complexion
thing.
for protection, you can shoot up a movie theater and they put bulletproof vest on you and they chauffeur you out. Whereas if you black, you just gotta walk out and hope you don't get shot type situation. So
If they
I
let
agree with
you out. So again, to my point, if you're allowed to get out, right? Knowing
right.
what we know and seeing the things that we see, and that's another thing about this entire all of these instances, right? They were all filmed. Like we're not guessing what has occurred. We literally watched all of these things transpire. And yet there are completely different outcomes. There are completely different sentencing tactics. We see that in people of color throughout the historical record, time and time again. We see that a judicial system is not made for us. None of these things are done for us, which is why we always tell people vote. And if you don't vote, vote in your local elections because it's the judges that make the decisions and back the laws and create the sentences that keep us in charge, that keep us engulfed, that keep us in positions of bondage. But we don't think like that. We say, "Oh, my one vote doesn't count."
Yeah,
And we
that's
spread
and
that
That's a
narrative,
whole other conversation.
praise.
and we spread that narrative, but we don't think about those long-term consequences of what that means or how that impacts us until it's time to have these kind of conversations. And then you're like, "Well, I didn't know that was there. When did this become a thing?" Right? Because we don't take the steps to do those things. But all of that to say, our experiences as people of color in these United States has not ever been fair, has not been just, has not been biased. And so it is my hope that this will spark something or get people to look at things differently. But I'm also very much aware of the systems and the processes and the institutions that are in place, and I know how they operate.
So I just want to go on record and say, last week the system and processes department was still on vacation. Y'all don't woke him up today. Did y'all not see DJ came out? He was passionate about that thing. Lord have mercy, done gave us historical. I think we now deem you Dr. DJ. Congratulations. All right, guys. Anybody else has anything else on this? Say what? That was deep.
It
Definitely
That
was.
was
deep.
deep. All right,
Definitely deep.
fam. Well, we'll be back with you right after this commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking about the power of release. And it's not what you're thinking it is. All right? We'll be right back. All right, guys. Shout out to Ricky Z Media. That's our production company. Feel free to go follow us, y'all. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, MySpace, YouTube. Follow us. All of our links are on the bottom, scrolling across the bottom. Follow us. Send us emails at nocludeshow@gmail.com. I see DJ sends.
Flag on the play. Did you say MySpace?
Yeah, I miss my space.
Flag on the play.
I don't
MySpace,
even remember my
you could
password.
create your own page and make it personalized to you. It wasn't like Facebook; everybody had to have the same.
I don't even do MySpace or Snapchat like that. But as he said, subscribe on YouTube, join the Facebook group, like the Facebook page, find us on TikTok, we're on Instagram. If you have feedback, make sure you email us too.
Where do
And
you know that?
nocluetheshow@gmail.com. And if you are looking to talk to me about promoting your business on No Clue, give commercial or whatever, especially in the next month, because keep an eye out, we're gonna support some Black businesses. Hit me up at promotion@rickyzsocialmedia.com or No Clue the Show. Right. Or No Clue the Show @gmail.com. Just so y'all know. I'm sorry. Let me get backstage. Bye, y'all.
Oh, see, y'all, we have no clue what's going on. We just have fun as we go. All right, so who has the main topic tonight?
Me.
Come on, Songbird.
Listen, and I'm so excited. Like, I'm super excited. Um, it's funny because when we were choosing topics, I actually had like a totally different idea of what I wanted to talk about. And but in between time, so much has happened. So I'm super excited. Um, so yeah, the power of release. I'm hoping that it's going to help somebody. We're talking about a bunch of different things. Power of release of forgiving people and such. We'll get into it though. Um, so I want to start off by asking y'all a question before I give this answer. Okay.
Okay.
So I want to know what forgiveness is to you all. Your own opinion. It's gonna get a little deep today.
You know, I'm with it. I like the deep stuff.
Oh Lord,
Really?
This
come
guy.
Really?
back.
DJ.
Who going first?
I'll go first. I don't mind. I'll go first.
Okay,
I mean, to me, right? Because you asked me, what does it mean to me?
right.
To me, forgiveness is a sense of cleansing, right? It's a sense of healing. It's a sense of restoration. You do it for you. You don't do it for the other person. It can be life changing, like when you actually understand what that is and what it means, and it's a power. It really is a sense of power uh, that can be exerted, or it can be taken or given back. So that's my answer.
Do you
Okay.
do you want the Doc answer or do you want the Robert answer?
I actually am okay with both. Let's do
Okay.
it.
Okay. So the Doc answer is forgiveness is me releasing what you did that hurt me, and not holding it against you moving forward. The Robert answer is me not punching you in your face when I see you again.
Hmm.
Okay,
Just
okay.
just because
You know
I
that's
have
real.
I have an anger issue. I'm just being real. I have an anger issue. So if you cross me more than once, like on sight, I'm ready to swing. And for me not to hit you, that means I've forgiven you.
Okay, I respect that, Terry.
um, so this is a tricky word for me because it took me a long time to even acknowledge what forgiveness even was. Um, but my now at the stage that I'm in, I forgive their action, but I make sure that I don't allow them to do that again to me. So I watch what they do as well.
Mm, that's good. I like that. Okay, wife on the line tonight. Forgiveness is good for your health. Is and we're gonna actually get into that a little bit too. So you're my business. Um, so one of the definitions that I found actually, it says a psychologist generally define forgiveness as a conscious, deliberate decision to release feelings of resentment or vengeance toward a person or group that has harmed you, regardless of whether actually deserve your forgiveness. Rather, yeah, I thought that was super important because I say that a lot. I had to forgive people that didn't even deserve it a lot of times. And some people I had to forgive didn't even ask for the forgiveness. They weren't even sorry. But that's a whole other conversation. Um,
Hmm. That
for,
part.
right. So forgiveness, a lot of people say this, and I want to know how y'all feel. This is not one of the questions y'all saw on purpose because it's something I've been thinking about. So have y'all heard the saying that people say you can forgive, but you don't forget?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
What do y'all
All the
feel
time.
about that?
I think it's a twofold thing, right? I think
Mm-hmm.
it's wise to kind of to Terry's point, right? You want to make sure that you're alert and attentive to those things, right, so that they don't happen again. But then it also, especially through working through therapy and dealing with me in this own thing, and especially dealing with it as it related to my dad before he passed, did that really mean that I forgave you though? And that was something that I really struggled with for a long time because if I have to continually think about the action that you've done or something that you might do, then that rings that I really probably haven't forgiven you, right? Because I'm constantly recreating that situation, that scenario, which means I'm giving it that power all over again instead of me taking it back for myself. So I don't know. I kind of am on the fence with that, and I'm one of those people too. Don't get me wrong, and I still struggle with that, where it's like, yeah, I can forgive what you did and kind of try to move forward with you, but once that happens, it is very hard for me to just be like, yeah, it's a whole clean slate. Don't worry
Right.
about it. Let's kind of do what we do. Like, no, I ain't there yet.
I think for me, I if I have to, and I hear that all the time,
Mm.
forgive you, but won't forget it. But it's like, do I really, like DJ
I
said,
respect that, Rakia.
do I really forgive you if I have to, every time I'm around you or in the same vicinity as you, that I have to walk on pins and needles? That means I don't forgive you, nor do I forget what you have done.
So for me, I kind of was going off what Rakia said. For me, forgiveness is when I will forgive you for what you've done. Me forgetting it is me not bringing it up to you again. For me,
Hmm.
that's forgetting it. Because I'm never going to forget that you stole money from me, right? That means I'm never going to trust you with my debit card. I forgave you. And now we've moved on for it. And so if you're around me, you're in my vicinity, I'm not going to bring it up. That's me forgetting. I remember. Because if you be like, hey, let me run to the bank real quick for you. No. But I forgave you because I forgot it because I'm not going to bring it back up to you. I feel like it's when you're in a relationship that it's like if your partner cheats or something and you say, oh, babe, we can work out. I forgive you. Forgiving and forgetting it means that I forgave you for that action. I'm not going to hold it against you again. And if we get into an argument 5 years from now, I'm not going to bring up, well, you cheated on me. That means I didn't forget it. For me, if we get into an argument and we just strictly, Jesus Christ, is that a disrespect?
I
Y'all know
love
she in
it.
school working on her masters.
I
Brittany,
love
you should
it.
have just verbally said all that and put a verbal memo up. That was a Jesus Christ.
That
Thank you,
took
Come
up the
on.
whole
Rakia.
screen.
That's good,
That's what you
Rakia.
do. That's a comment right there. Like
Mm-hmm.
having another level of discernment. See how small
Don't
that
come for
was?
her. Don't come for her. Don't do that.
But for me, that's what forgive and forget is for me. If I forget it, that means I'm not going to bring it. We're not going to talk about it again. It's gone. I'm not going to forget it up here. But when it comes to you, I've forgotten it.
But about 75 to 80% of the time, we are bringing it back up.
And that's my entire point. The funny thing, y'all, is actually personally, I actually agree more with Arteria and DJ personally. But the definition I was reading, y'all, I found it funny because the next line of it that I didn't read in the beginning says that forgiveness does not mean forgetting, nor does it mean condoning or excusing offenses. And it
Mm-hmm.
kind of hit me because even though I agree with that, because it's kind of what you were saying, Doc, so to speak, I do agree with it, but I've always looked at it too. Like, if I forgive you, then I'm gonna be honest, sometimes I really do want to forget. And I've kind of trained my mind to try to give people a fresh start. And I think that part of that comes with being a leader because I have so many people who a lot of times will be under me and they might do something. And if I hold on to something, it can possibly affect the way that I'm treating the people that I'm working with. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So I
It
think I've kind of
does.
trained my mind to just forget. So I do that even with the people I love and with family members. And sometimes it's not even on purpose. I literally can remember that you at one point offended me, but there are times I don't even remember what was said to offend me because I try to get to the place where I completely forgive. I believe in same grace. I believe that the same grace that I need on a day-to-day basis, because I'm not a perfect person, that other people need it too. But that's just a personal opinion. But that definition kind of threw my own personal definition off too.
But you said you trained your mind. You trained your mind. However, training means a trigger. There's a trigger somewhere.
Yes and no. I'm gonna tell you what I'm trying not to get too deep into how I train my mind, if you want me to be real with you, but it's more of a spiritual thing for me. But I'll give you the short version of it. So I believe that we're forgiven. You know, we talk scripture, some of us believe our sins are cast into the sea of forgetfulness. So I feel like this. If that's something that's done for me, who am I as a human being to not be able to in a way do that for another person? I've been in a position where I needed somebody's forgiveness and they wouldn't forgive me. The Lord. Okay, I was at my lowest at one point and I needed someone's forgiveness. And I understood then more than ever that I was one of the most judgmental people in the world because I was at that time. And I would hold on to stuff. I'm a Pisces for one, and we hold grudges. I ain't gonna even sit here and lie to y'all. We hold grudges like terribly, which actually goes into my next question. The not my question, but it's a statement.
I think Robert got something.
Go ahead, Robert.
Um, so something you said that you try to give people a fresh start.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wrong me, you won't. I'm not gonna lie and say you get a
Mm.
fresh start. I will give you a second start.
That's
However,
good.
you're still on salty ground with me because you've broken that trust. And so I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I'm gonna give because trust is something that's hard to get, but easy to break, right? And once you break that trust from me, you have to build that back up. And every time you build it up, a part of me is expecting you to fall again. Now, I agree because I being in the role that I play in the church, you're supposed to forgive and forget because God forgives us. Hi, my name is not God. My name is Robert. Let's start there. Um, but I will forgive you, but that doesn't mean I need to be ignorant to the fact of what you did. It's
No.
just like when someone does something wrong to you and they're like, I'm sorry, I apologize. I accept your apology, but it doesn't negate the fact that what you did still hurt.
But who said something about discernment? Because for me, that's where your discernment kicks in.
Yeah.
I think Rakia said that.
Yeah.
That's where your discernment kicks in.
But so the problem with discernment is this. So discernment works for my personal experience. Discernment works when it comes to people who I have not let into my inner circle. Because when it comes to people who I hold closest and dearest to me, I have a sense of trust with them that surpasses my discernment. For example, Terry. If Terry came in my house and told me she could come in my house and then I come home and everything in my house gone, the first person I'm not gonna think of is Arteria, because she's in my inner circle. Even if my discernment was like, "Hey, watch her," I'm gonna be like, "That's Arteria. She ain't gonna do that. That's been my role dog. She was down for me when da 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 da." You see what I'm saying? So we battle our discernment. But when it's somebody on the outside, like Peter, who just walked up and rung the doorbell, your discernment is on high alert. You tend to let your walls down when it comes to people closer to you. Personal opinion.
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's also a part of that is that you have to learn to discern, right? It's not just, a readily given trait, right? You have to be able to be in tune to what that is, be in tune
Yes.
to the senses, be in tune to the emotions, be in tune to the spiritual receptors, all of those things. And so it's much like anything else, it's a learned and conditioned behavior. And when you exercise it, just like any other muscle or any body part, when you exercise it, they strengthen it and it becomes heightened, and then you're more in tune with it. But to your point about, those in your closest circle, I think we actually do the opposite. I think we have a little bit more
That's what I was
discerning for
just
people
I
that
know
about
I
to
are
do. I
closest
was
say.
to
thinking
us
the same thing.
than somebody else that's just, you know, a random person that I just encountered, because
Yeah.
to your point, because I do expect more from you and I do have that relationship with you and I do have that trust for you. So when I'm in those places, like it's much more heightened because I expect more of you.
I was just about to say that. We have to stop picking and choosing when we want to use our discernment.
I agree. You know, the one thing that I asked the universe or God for, because I learned that I was picking and choosing when I wanted to use my discernment. So I asked that even if it was a person that was closest to me, that I not be oblivious, that I not be ignorant to it just because I love a person. And honestly, I started manifesting that thing. So it's possible. You just have to be intentional. You can definitely be a discerner of the ones that are closest to you.
We'll keep going, move on, because I'm about to start talking about something. Go ahead,
I know. Me too.
Lord.
So I'm gonna
Go
read this
on.
comment that we got
Okay,
because I don't
read.
want Rakia to put it up on the screen because it will block all of us out.
Uh-oh.
But
Uh-uh.
you know
Who's
who
it
it's from.
from?
You know. It says nearly 60% of a national representative sample of 1,423 Americans report that they have forgiven themselves for past mistakes and wrongdoings, and nearly three quarters say they feel they've been forgiven by God, but only 52% say they have forgiven others, and just 43% say they have actively sought forgiveness for harm they've done, according to a study conducted at the University of Michigan Institute for Social Research, ISR, the world's largest academic survey and research organization.
Mm,
Brittany, I
mm,
love your comments, but
mm.
can you get them down to 5 words max? Thank you.
You know she's not gonna do that. Research is what she does. That's good
Yeah,
stuff though.
yeah. I need you gonna
It
say your name.
is.
That's good stuff.
All right.
Um, okay, so I'm gonna move on because I got a couple other things to hit, and I know we don't have a lot of time. So I was reading about, because I talked to y'all about the fact that I used to hold grudges horribly. So we talked about mental health. I think it was DJ that actually brought up some mental health issues that we discussed. And so I told y'all then, I think, that I used to struggle with anxiety, used to be on medication for it off and on. Um, And actually, because it was an issue, because I'm pregnant, that was the first thing they talked about, making sure that my anxiety stays where it needs to stay and whatnot. So this is something to me that is super important for people to know, that it actually is medically unhealthy for you to hold grudges. When you do hold a grudge, you're recalling a past event and the negative emotions associated with it. So it subjects your body to stress over a prolonged period, which, as we know, does have negative health effects. But the one thing I like that I did find is it also said that rushing to forgive isn't good either, as it can make you minimize your emotions, which is also unhealthy as far as your mental is concerned. Which I feel about that. I thought
That's
that was good.
that's the first thing my therapist told me, that your emotions are valid.
Yes, mine does
Your
too.
your no, mine's are valid. That's what my therapist told me, that my emotions
Wow.
were valid.
Hold on.
But I do find that
Agreed.
when I hold on to grudges, yeah, it runs your blood pressure up. Um, you're stressed out. You have sleepless nights. It affects your relationships, and by relationship, I don't mean sexual relationships. It affects your friendships, your church ships, your work ships. It affects all the ships, and you run into icebergs and you sink like the Titanic. It affects your life, and I've learned that when you let go of things, life is better. You're happier. Stuff don't hold you down no more like it used to. And when people run their mouth, you're not quick to punch them in it no more. You're like, whatever, moving on. Until you get on my pay grade, then you can say something. When you get
Well,
something in your name more than the library card, then you can come talk to me. Oh wait, I shouldn't say that. They got me in trouble last time. Moving on. Sorry.
anybody else on that?
Wow. Um, if I could be transparent, I was comfortable with my grudges
Mm. Ooh.
for a very long time. I was very, very comfortable with those grudges. So I was so comfortable with those grudges that I didn't realize that I was stressing myself out. I wasn't sleeping enough. I didn't realize that. So I was very comfortable with the grudges that I was holding until recently. And I, started doing therapy, and that's when she realized, so that's what made me realize, no, that's not okay for you to be doing. Because that makes you a doormat.
Yeah.
So I was very comfortable with my grudges. I was for a very long time.
That's real. I mean, most of us are. Most of us don't even realize that it's something that is not good for us. You know what I mean? We just hold a grudge without thinking about it. It'll become second nature for me. So I totally feel you.
Mm-hmm.
DJ?
I just think it's, as somebody who is still learning and working through this too, the power of our emotions and the power of the validity of our emotions and the power of our perceptions, because our perceptions are our reality. And
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
we don't want to minimize or negate. And I tell people that all the time. You don't get to negate how I feel, and you don't get to minimize how that has made me feel because you don't see it. It's still very valid, and it's still a very real concern for me. And I think, especially as it relates to holding grudges, like I can think about that. Like I'm like Terry. Like there was a time when I was very comfortable doing that, and I'm still working through that. Trust me, I ain't got there yet either. There's still some people that I'm just like,
Me too.
yeah, whatever. Like if they, it is what it is. But I'm working on it. But I also noticed the difference in my body. I noticed that I don't feel as well when I'm doing that, or when I'm around that person, or when they come into my mind, or how instantly I'm drained, or instantly it changes my mood, or instantly how I'm just like a whole nother person. And then I noticed like the toxins that develop in my body. Now my skin is breaking out. And I don't understand why. And all of these other things. And so it's thank you, Brittany. We're on the same page.
Well,
um,
I was gonna.
I
I was gonna.
wasn't done.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you. I'm sorry. My apologies.
So, you know, um, again, don't minimize my emotions.
Yeah.
Your emotions doesn't.
um,
I'm joking. Joking.
see.
Ooh. You're not good for his mental health right now.
But yeah, and then I noticed those things, and I noticed the toxins that
Thank
were
you, Lord.
developing in my body, and I was breaking out, and I couldn't understand why, and so I noticed all of those things, and so to that point, like I did have to get to a place where it's like, okay, this ain't worth it. I'm feeling this. This isn't me. This is the me that I would choose to be. And again, I'm not there yet. I'm the first to admit it. I am not there yet, but I'm working toward it.
Yes. Y'all talking so good. You guys are putting me toward like the end of what I'm gonna talk about. I'm trying not to get there yet. I have one more question before we get there, because y'all talking really good. I want to know if you guys believe in karma. I'm asking these questions for a reason.
Hey, Richard, that's my homie. Thank you for joining us today.
Because a lot of people, I'm saying that I'm gonna tell you why I'm asking. So a lot of people will forgive with the idea that if they forgive and they don't retaliate, that whoever the person is going to get there, so to speak, right? We always hear what goes around comes around. How do y'all feel about that? Let's help the people.
So here's my thing with that, and this is how I think about that. So my human self do think like that. However, karma, I feel like sometimes that karma can come back on me too, because I'm thinking karma about what they should be getting.
We don't think about that part. Come on.
So if karma come around here, I'm gonna punch her in her face. I'm letting you know on site. But I agree with Terry. I believe what you put out there comes back to you. So if I said they're gonna get theirs, usually you're putting out there something bad is gonna happen to them.
Yes.
But what you put out there comes back to you. I have a friend who practices voodoo, and he says when you practice black magic, whatever black magic you put out comes back to you tenfold. So if you put black roots on somebody, whatever damage happens to them is going to happen back to you tenfold. And I believe that's the same with us. If whatever we speak out, when we speak out negativity, it comes back on us.
The tongue is a powerful thing.
Come on.
Life and death.
Come on. Don't get me started.
Damian Parks Weekly said that karma, you reap what you sow. Yep, I think so.
Okay.
So and so for me, here's where you don't want to will ill wish someone, but you don't want to. You won't.
That's how I feel, Rakia.
So I feel like whatever seeds you plant, when you plant seeds of discord, you receive a harvest of discord, right? So if a person plants bad seeds against me, they're gonna reap those bad seeds. And I just say, you reap what you sow. That's what I say. You reap what you sow. Not karma, they're gonna get theirs. You reap what you sow. So since you're sowing negativity, you're gonna get negativity.
Even if someone had already done something against you, though, that's the kicker. You got to be careful.
And it's in my book. Plug. Shameless plug. It's in my book. That
go ahead and let us know.
When you put negativity out, negativity come back. And you should I even pray for my enemies. Yes. Those people who talk bad about me, who wish ill upon me, I pray God bless them. Bless them to the point where they have so many blessings they can leave me the F alone.
But y'all saying something really important, right? You. And that you aspect determines what? Our free will, the choices that we get to make, the things that we do, the options that we make. While I do believe that, there is a certain level of universal balancing, for lack of a better word, in my human mind, I think that it has to be some level of justification for what it is. But I think we place too much power in the concept and the idea of in and of itself.
That's
right?
It.
And so much like any other idea or any other folklore or any other legend, as much energy and attention as we give to it, the power comes and then the narrative essentially changes, right? And then we lose the origin part of what it is. But saying all of that to say, I think people will be people. People will do things, they make choices. Some of those choices are intentionally good and some of those choices are intentionally ill. But when we make the choice to say, or interpret those things and say, then I wish these things on you, I think that's where that idea of what we consider to be karma comes into play, because now I'm accountable for what I contributed to that situation too, because now it's not just about you. And I think the accountability piece is a large part of the portion of that discussion that often gets lost in translation.
Yeah. I just want y'all to know this conversation is exciting. My counterpart over here, and she's like over here itching. She keeps looking. I'm like, you got something to say? You right here. But she does not like being on camera.
Is that the super typer?
Yes. That's why I'm like, do you want to say something? It'll be easier.
She must be on her computer because you
It
can't
would be
type.
a lot easier if she just get on the
That's what
screen,
I
like,
said.
Right.
like so I don't have to like cover everybody's faces to like
You gonna get
show
on
the
and say what you want to
comments
say?
Well,
because it's good
paragraph.
comments, right? Like I want
Okay.
to be able to like it's okay. Show your face.
She said, "Okay, I'll just speak. Say what you got to say. Get it on out. Go
Hello.
ahead."
Introduce yourself. Hi, how are you?
Okay.
Hello.
You have to get
Hi,
okay.
everyone.
Hi.
Hey. So yeah, so you guys were talking about the concept of karma, and I thought it was interesting because I took a trip to virtual trip to India. So we spoke a lot about Buddhism, Hinduism, and all the religions that have stayed in India. So the United States in 2019 did a report about how strongly do people believe in karma in the United States. They found that 31% of the United States said they very strongly believed in karma. 34% said somewhat strongly, 18% not very strongly, 10% said not at all, and 6% said they don't know. And this is just in 2019, so the study is like increasing. However, it just shows that regardless of even faith, people still believe in karma, and that's not a faith for Christians or anything of like that. It's funny how we take culture but not religion into account when we use different things. Ooh. So I thought it was important to start that because people say they don't believe in karma, or they just believe, they put their own spin on what karma means to them. But if we take the natural form of where it comes from, like we said, Ayurvedic medicine, traditional medicine, it doesn't come into play when it comes to personal feelings. This is a social thing, or it can be personal as well. So that's all I got.
Notice y'all were looking at the stuff.
Brittany said a very important thing. So she said, people, something along the effects of people put karma where they feel that it should go, i.e., I think I'm about to,
you're gonna get in trouble.
So we have a lot of pastors. We have a lot of pastors out here that allow stuff to happen, and they automatically say, "Well, I don't have a heaven or hell to put them in."
Go for it.
Say what you got to
Because
say.
I know where you going. We both in the get put up.
So we have a lot of pastors and a lot of leaders in the church that says, "I don't have allow stuff to happen, or I don't have a heaven or hell to put them in." So they're making their own karma right there in itself.
Ooh.
I pop my own feet later.
DJ, that's a very nice shirt you have.
I thought she was gonna go somewhere else with that and utilize that in the concept of like reaping and sowing, right, and harvesting, and have
I'm trying to pull
through
it back and not
the
get
biblical.
so much
No, but utilizing that in the biblical context, right, and then we not understanding that literally meant what it meant. A literal planting and harvesting and literal reaping, because it was an
Ain't no B
agricultural
clause.
society, right? And how we flip that whole thing. And again, to my point and to Brittany's point, we take that entire concept and flip it on its head to make it beneficial to whatever ideas or cultural practices or religious norms that we're trying to enforce.
So, Shabay, I love the color of your hair. It's very but I agree with you, DJ. That's what people do. They take bits and pieces to piece together what they want to be their plan. Or to justify.
That's so good. That is so true.
Yes.
That's good.
I try not to say it. Thank you for saying it for me.
Right.
But that's what, and I don't want to just, that's what most pastors do. What a lot of pastors, let me say a lot, not most, because I've met a pastor who don't. When he preaches a scripture, he give you the whole scripture. He don't use the A clause and a B clause. You get the whole scripture. But people, you can justify anything with what you want from the Bible. And something Brittany said that really stuck out to me was culture versus religion. We don't know how to separate the two. Because we say, oh, this is my religion. No, that's your culture. That's not your religion. You need to know the difference.
Well, I don't think that they absolutely are wrong in that context, because if they trapped in the spirit of religiosity, that is their religion, right? And so they're not necessarily wrong in that context, I agree with you. The two are totally separate concepts, and they probably most likely are properly misusing them. But for that particular person, if they do practice religiosity and that's all that they know,
That's
in
important.
their defense, that really is a form of their religion, not necessarily
I get
understanding
that.
the complexities behind what that actually means when we say stuff like that. Or even taking the time to ask questions about where did this come from? Why is this foundational? What does it mean? Which goes back to this whole thing about even us having the conversation about karma. How many people have we heard or do we hear say these things on a consistent and regular basis? And you know they don't have any idea about the roots or the connotations behind it. Nobody questions them. Nobody stops it. Nobody corrects it. And when we
Oh,
allow misinformation to continually be perpetuated, it causes all these. Oh, that's good,
that's
Brittany. I hear
good.
my,
That's good.
I
Brittany,
had
go
to
take a
stop in
nap.
my tracks. But that's good, and that's real.
Religion has become a culture, just like people cannot separate church and state.
So
Jeez.
I feel like what we're saying here is we're gonna have a show topic: culture
Yep,
versus religion.
we
I
need
feel like that's
to,
what we're hitting
and we need to
at.
go ahead and have Brittany on it.
We're gonna have Brittany do that show. We're gonna take that day off. All right,
Right.
it'll be Brittany because she's gonna be letting who I was about to
She
say something.
is.
I know if I say it, I'm gonna get in trouble, so I'm not gonna say it.
Oh my
I'll text
goodness.
it to y'all on the side. All right, back to you, Shabay. Keep going, keep going, keep
Okay,
going.
this is good. I'm enjoying this conversation. So I knew we'd get stuck there for a minute, but I want to go back. We talked about is it if it was medically unhealthy to hold grudges. We got our answers there. Someone talked about power. I'm trying to get back to that because it reminded me of something I was thinking earlier.
DJ.
People don't okay. Because I was thinking, and the one thing people don't realize that you give a person power over you when you choose not to forgive. And that's one of the harshest realities to accept, power over your emotions. You give a situation power because I know it's not always about people. You know what I mean? We give whatever that is power over our emotions. We don't realize a lot of times that forgiveness, like one of you said, is for us.
Mm-hmm.
That healing and release has always been for us.
That's just
What are
like
y'all
the
thoughts?
saying. That's just like the saying. He who angers you controls you.
Yes. Yes.
What my therapists have got me to learn to say is not my circus, not my monkey. And if they act like a complete donkey, you say not my farm, not my jackass. And that's what it is.
You're gonna
Because
get trouble.
but no, that's what my therapist said, not me. But he said you have to think about it in that manner because if you being transparent, when I separated from a person, I was so distraught. Like I was oh, they better be they missing me. They just I was just all about them. And so he was like, so answer me this. What are they doing right now? Do you think they're thinking about you right now? No, but guess what you're doing? You're thinking about them. So who's controlling you right now?
Yeah.
And I had the same situation happen to me with a ministry I was a part of because I put y'all know me. If I do anything, I put my all into it. Right? I don't know how to half behind do anything. I'm gonna jump both feet in and you sink or swim. And so I joined the ministry and I put everything into this ministry. And I was the bad person when I said God has called me out. You see what I'm saying? And when I left, my whole thought process was they did this and they did that. And my therapist said, well, tell me this. Who is controlling your life right now? That ministry is keeping you from ministering to the people who you're
Ooh.
called to because you're so broken by what they did. You're still over there with them. So you might as well go back if you're going to keep worrying about what they said and how they did this and what are they doing and what they're saying about you. If you know you did what you needed to do and you gave your all and you gave your best, when you walk away with your head held high, knowing that I put my all into it.
Come on. That's good.
Now I need all y'all to help cover my therapy sessions because I just gave
We're
y'all
gonna go
some.
ahead and take up an offering. That was a word.
Appreciate you. But that's for me. That's where that release comes from because as long as I hold on to it, thinking about that person, how that person ain't gonna do better than me. I was the best thing ever because I. Baby, that person ain't even thinking about you. They done stuck with 47 other people and moved on with their life.
Oops.
Move
Not
on with yours.
47. Jesus.
Right.
What did
Did
that
she not
number?
know that was a okay, never mind. Um I'm over here watching Arteria squirm, so I'm interested.
Mm.
You trying to not be in trouble tonight. I told you this was gonna get deep. I told you this was gonna get deep. DJ, what you got?
I just think that the power differential aspect of it is really the most important component of that. And when you relinquish your power to somebody, you relinquish a form of yourself.
Come
You
on.
relinquish a form of your emotions. You relinquish a form of your mental health. You relinquish a form of your physical health. And it's hard to get back to that version of yourself because you've given that part of yourself away. But I think the most important thing to remember is, you know, with power, and I know it's like a cliche thing, but with power comes responsibility, right? And so if I'm reclaiming my power and I'm reclaiming the authority over myself in a situation or thing, differential aspect of,
Right.
then what am I doing now? Then what comes after that? What does that mean? What am I accountable for? And how am I holding myself accountable to whatever standard or things that I said that I wanted to happen? And how am I being responsible enough to ensure that those things are happening? Many of us, we all have talked about therapy. I think it's a great way of holding ourselves accountable and regaining our individual power in situations, circumstances, whatever. But I think a huge part of that too is, especially as it relates to the release function of that, is once you get to that place, you don't go back.
That's
Because
good.
if I keep revisiting the same thing, I've never truly released it.
You gonna make Arteria talk, sir?
So DJ, that's where when you find that peace, you don't go back to war. You stay in that peace. You don't let nobody take that peace away from you. And when you said accountable, that's the problem I think a lot of people face. They won't be accountable to themselves, but they want to hold
Mhm.
everybody else accountable.
Okay.
Yes.
That
Uh-huh.
uh
That
Kid, can
comment.
you put that comment back up there? That
hmm
that 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 one.
The last thing.
Yeah, that one right there.
hmm
We have the power to create our own safe spaces, whether church, jobs, or family. Your safe space is not another person.
That
Oh, that's
part.
good, bro. That's good, Terry.
I have found that,
I'm gonna
see, and
preach that.
I'm trying not to. We're talking about church, so I'm gonna keep it on church. I found that a lot of these people that's going into these churches are finding their safe spaces in other people.
Definitely.
They're finding their supposedly, or who they think is their safe space in the leaders of these churches.
Mm.
That's a whole other conversation.
See, that's why I'm trying to. Y'all keep talking,
Yep,
and
because
I'm
you're
trying
gonna take me there, and it'd be real easy for me
to.
to go there. So, yeah. Which
Oh, look, a mini dissertation.
y'all gonna stop talking about my baby?
Yo,
People believe
that's
power is
good,
either
Brittany.
given or taken. However, the relinquished through attachment, grudges, and lack of forgiveness. Most of the time, we do not know we are giving away power because it's learned or taught.
That is the
Absolutely.
truth. That is the truth, and that's why I wanted us to do this live because I wanted to help somebody. Whenever I do something, I want to help somebody get free. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I want to help somebody who is like me because I'm speaking on something that I have gone through. And when I tell you, when I released the unforgiveness that I was dealing with, I'm living a life of freedom that I've never experienced. I thought that I experienced freedom before, but I still was holding grudges from even hurt from childhood and things that I had been through. And going to therapy, honestly, over something, I'm gonna be real. I went to therapy when I was going through a divorce, and she ended up digging all of my business. Okay, and it really helped me heal from things I didn't even know I needed healing from. And once I released some things, I started really living my best life, like Doc says all the time. I really did. So I just want somebody else to be able to live in that freedom. Um, release is for you. Honestly, the release is for you.
Yeah.
And I think, we get hung up on what it's supposed to look like. It can look like whatever it looks like for you. It doesn't have to be this overt, extensive, emotive state of, this, thing, or, you see the narratives of people running through the fields and they all happy and skipping through the woods. Like, that's not a reality. It can
It's
be
not.
whatever it is for you. And it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be a process. It is challenging and it's not easy. And
Now
I
you
don't
just
wanna,
got
I
onto my
don't want
next
to get
thing.
through it.
You in my business, sir. Literally, the next thing I wrote down was remember that healing is a process. Somebody told me something years ago. She said, if you were supposed to be there, you'd be there. And then another person told me, because I was frustrated about school at that time, and she said, your journey is not like everybody else's. You have to accept that your journey is what it is. And I never understood that. Then my mama turned around and told me that your healing can actually go as fast or as slow as you want it, but you got to stay committed to the process.
That's
Everybody's
a
process
problem.
looks differently. Yeah, right. You're right.
That's
Well,
our
since y'all
problem.
been churchy all day, I mean all night, y'all been in the church house. Let me go to church for a minute.
Read.
You don't know my stories
Ah.
and all the things that I've been through.
Mm-hmm.
You can't feel my pain, what I had to go through just to get here. You'll never understand my praise, so don't try to figure it out. That's the problem. People want to do what I did to get where I am, but you don't understand what I had to do to get here. I told y'all before, if you get an honorary doctorate, congratulations to you. But you didn't damn study and work your butt off writing a dissertation, have to stand before people who made you question a lot of things in your own life. So I
Come
don't
on.
respect it. You didn't play you didn't join an organization in the manner in which I joined the organization. And so because you signed your name on the dotted line, I can't respect that. And you have to understand that. Our processes are not the same. How I got to my happiness, you're not going to get there. How I built my relationship is not how you're going to build your relationship. And what people need to stop doing is trying to keep up with the Joneses and look in the mirror and keep up with the man in the mirror.
Yes. Just
You
focus on
try to
your
be like
healing.
me and get a house, and baby, you can't even pay your Section 8 on time.
Ooh. Yep. Now you need to go ahead and turn your camera off.
Look,
Somebody mute him. You telling the truth though. So one thing I'm gonna share. You want me to share it? Because it's funny. You're saying it, and I'm also thinking about my condition. You just put it in my. Okay, hold on.
So in contributing to the healing
Can we
process,
see
what
your
people don't
face?
understand, huh?
Bring the camera down so we can see your face.
No, that was crazy. So even I'm in the background, but even with the healing process, what people do not understand, there are stages. That people can jump stages. Like even if we take the healing process, we look at it. First, there's platelet activation. Then there's influx. Then there's bacterial clearance. Then there's tissue necrosis. Then there's different stages of inflammatory resolution, tissue debris removal. There's different stem cell activation. Then you got remodeling and scarring formation.
Come on.
Okay, so when you go through those stages, different people have different type of views, different lifestyle, different cultures. So when all that comes into play, sometimes people don't need the inflammatory resolution because they can just go ahead to go to the removal. So if you take that process into what people need to do in their lives, it's different. Every process is different. You're like Robert said, you won't look like me. You know what I'm saying? What I had to go through, you may not go through that. So with healing physically, healing emotionally, healing mentally, each stage it may be necessary. And if you try to look at somebody else's blessing or somebody else's process, and you try to jump into that process, you may need to go back to platelet activation. You will need to go back to tissue necrosis. You need to go back to stem cell activation just in order for you to get remodeling and scar formation. Then it does not mean just because you have a scar that it's going to be ugly. It's going to be, everybody has scars, and that's what makes you beautiful, because when you touch that scar, you're going to remember what you had went through in order to get to that place. And sometimes you don't want to go back there, and sometimes you may need to, just in order to form something new. Everything that's broken it's not ugly. Everything that's broken can still be beautiful.
It's not trash.
Well, see, that's what I love about scars.
Come
Because
on.
to me, if you have a scar is a reminder that you made it, that you survived. Because you have a scar lets you know that what tried to take you out didn't take you out. It didn't succeed. Or for me, sometimes scars can say, this scar came from me delivering something beautiful. Because when you birth something, it's not a pleasant experience. Terry, you's a mother. Was birthing easy and wonderful? Did you say, "Oh, I love this. Let's do it again"?
Oh,
I put the
Just for my
contraction
sake, say
thing on my
everything's gonna be
stomach.
okay. I'm stressed.
I mean, it's gonna be okay, but there's a process with it.
Right. I mean,
Whew.
you don't just wake up
Don't I
one morning
know?
like, you know what? I think I'm going to sleep. Poof, there's the baby. No, it's a process for it to happen. And people need to respect the process. You need to enjoy the
Yes.
process, because when you're going through a process, that process actually makes you a better person. When you're going through healing, like if you, I've never broke a limb or anything, but once they said it and it's healing, you miss that thing, don't you? You can't move it like you want to. So when you get use of it again, you appreciate it more than when it was broken. So you have to
Listen.
understand that when you're going through a process, the process is okay. If you ever ate a cake,
Now,
it's in my book. Another book plug. It's in my book. If you ever went to the store and bought a the you can get a if you ever made a cake from scratch, it tastes amazing, right? When you have to get the flour, you have to sift the flour, the eggs, the milk, the sugar, the cream, and you mix it all together, and you have to batter. I mean, line the pan, shake it down. You have to put it in the oven. You don't want nobody walking through your kitchen to make your cake fall. But now you can go get a cup and pour some water in it, stir it up, put it in the microwave, and in 3 minutes you got a whole cake. It doesn't taste the same. Your process doesn't feel the same if you don't go through the process. DJ is getting a degree, right? He's getting his doctorate. If they just said, "Hey
Mhm.
DJ, congratulations, you're done. Here's your doctorate degree," he'll be
Oh
happy he
Praise
yeah.
the
got
Lord.
it. But will he appreciate the he won't understand the process. He won't understand the knowledge that he needs to have to operate in that degree. You see what I'm saying? Brittany is getting her degree. If they just gave her the degree and she didn't go through the process, she wouldn't understand when people come to her with questions, because guess what? I didn't go through the process. People need to understand the
I'm
process. It's like these overnight I'm sorry. I'm going to church. These overnight bishops and pastors,
oh nope. Arteria.
no, mute yourself.
So
Um,
go ahead, Terry, and then I'll jump in.
and that just takes me into, it's okay to ask questions or ask opinions. However, don't make somebody else's opinions and how they went through something yours.
Yes.
Fuck.
Y'all starting stuff. I'm trying to be quiet. Please, somebody else. I don't need to say anything right now.
DJ.
No, I was just gonna say, we talked a lot about physical healing because I think that's a great analogy to help us understand,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
again, about process and process that's tangible. And I think that often is a piece that we miss. It has to be something that anybody can grasp and that they can understand. But, with anything that's hard, unfortunately, it's hard because it's not for everybody. And
Yeah.
while we have this conversation that we're saying, oh, healing is for everybody. And in essence, it is, but it's not, because
Wow.
everybody is not built to undergo the process that it takes or the pain, because it's hard and it hurts and it's not fun. And there are lonely nights and there are difficult things. And there are times that you question yourself and everything about you that you know or that you come to think that you know about yourself. Everybody isn't built for that. And we have to be very transparent with people and let them know sometimes you are going to need to be supported to get through that thing. But understand, it is a difficult process. But much like with coal turns to diamonds, when the process is done right and you put under the exact amount of pressure, a beautiful
That's
thing is
exactly where I was
born.
going.
And you take something that's worth nothing and it's completely invaluable
Come
because of
on.
the process that it undergone.
Come on, Bishop Doctor.
And if we were even
Yes,
going for
Bishop.
scripture,
I bind
if we
that
were
bishop part.
if we were even going to scripture, there was also a point where, like Brittany was saying earlier, that you couldn't move forward, that you had to go back into the furnace. You feel me? So yeah, I was
But I don't
trying
know
not
if
to
I
get too
agree with
churchy.
that part though, because if I've truly healed and I've truly moved past something, I don't need to go back there. Now, I'm going to always have a recollection of it or a record of that situation and that experience and what it did. But revisiting that could be detrimental to my healing.
I agree, but I'm talking about more so for the people who are going through it, and maybe you go through something and you didn't get what you were supposed to get here. So I got to take you back just so that you can see again. Hey, let me let you get this. Which actually, I went through one of the biggest
Mhm.
healing processes of my life last year. I had major surgery on my right arm. And to be honest, I'm just now feeling like I don't even have all of my feeling, truthfully. Um, they took basically my entire armpit. And it took me how long, they like 7 months? Literally 7 months to completely close. And when I tell you the way it started, like I have the pictures and I'm gonna share eventually, but it's pretty graphic. It started off as a huge wound and it literally had to heal from the inside out. And that, when I tell you, taught me so much patience. healing definitely is not always pretty, and that's my whole point of tonight. It takes time, and your process is your process. Don't get jealous either that somebody else's process may be a little quicker. You know what I mean? Like your process is not going to look like the next person's, except that you have to go through what you have to go through. My mama says it all the time. You cannot bypass the process, or you can, and then what'll happen is you'll find yourself repeating some situations. Because say it again, because you interrupted everything I'm saying. Oh, come on now. She said you don't know how God prepared another person to get through their process. People get jealous a lot of times and don't even know what a person had to go through. They don't know their struggle, like Doc was saying earlier. So,
well, if we take it out the church, when
Didn't
you
I
in school,
just say this to somebody earlier?
yes.
You
when you're in school, you're in the third grade. You can't go to the fourth grade till you pass all the lessons. That same
Mm-hmm.
goes with life. You can't go to the next level until you pass all the tests on this level. And that's the problem with people. They want to graduate and they still in kindergarten.
and
Popcorn titles.
unfortunately,
Don't
but
get me started.
unfortunately, we've created a society where that's acceptable, right? And so nepotism is a form of those things where I don't have to undergo process. It ain't about the process, it's about the connection. We have, systems and institutions that are in place that's like I don't have to do any of those things or put in the work and I can equally do those things. But then the other part to that is again to my point about being accountable and having to put in the work, we have developed and cultivated a society that tells us that it's okay to do those things. You don't have to do that. Pay this $9.99 for whatever it is, and you go ahead and you move forward. And there are too many alternatives and avenues that allow us to bypass systems and process. And that's why we have a generation of people now that constantly are fumbling and functioning because they don't have the foundational skills or have not been properly equipped to handle anything. So that when you
DJ.
have those
Nope.
situations,
Yeah, because you're
you're
gonna get
good.
all of us started.
Nope.
DJ,
We gotta wrap it up.
I'm gonna do
Hold
you like
on.
I did. When I
Nope.
preach this, I'm gonna put you in timeout. You have been set
Nope.
down for the 4 Sundays because you told the people that they can supposed to become a bishop. They pay $19.99 and they be a bishop overnight. You in
I
trouble.
didn't
Glad
even
you
talk about the
Well,
church. I didn't talk
well,
about the church. Y'all did. I spoke generally.
he did. He
But
spoke
that is the
generally.
problem. When you have
It
universities that you
is.
can buy degrees based on life experience, you still need the
Mm-hmm.
knowledge. I don't need you saying I'm a doctor because I put band-aids on 76,000 kids. That makes me a doctor. No, baby, that makes you a band-aid.
Uh-uh. Yep.
Y'all y'all gonna okay.
And
Well,
again, that's
uh,
that's facts because again, that's what I'm saying about being properly equipped. And again, taking that back to healing, if you don't not properly equipped and don't properly have the tools and the foundation, because that's where it starts. Do you actually have the adequate foundation, which most people don't, because unfortunately, for us as people of color, we don't have conversations about forgiveness. We don't have conversations about the relevance of having these things. And so, since we don't have that essentially, then we have to relearn all of those behaviors. And to learn a new behavior, you have to unlearn the old behavior. That's conditioning.
so
It's time for us to wrap it up. Your final thoughts.
I like how. So guys, wow. Can I just say that about tonight's show? Wow. Guys, No Clue Show is not a free publication. This costs money. If you like to support the show, please support us on Patreon. How do you say that?
Patreon.
Patreon.
Patreon. I said Patreon.
Patreon.
I said Patreon.
You said
Patreon.
Patron last week.
You need a shot?
Like
Lord
a
have mercy.
patron of
Right.
your
No,
of your
this
of
is
your arts, of your
Not
services, a
tequila.
patron.
No Clue
Patreon.
is a no judgment zone. Patreon. You can support us on Patreon. As little as $3 a month goes a long way, guys. $3 a month. That's only $26 a year. Is my math correct? Yeah, my math is right on that one.
Wait, say
Or
it
you can
again.
support up
$3 a month is how much?
that is
Did you
not
say
26. That's
$26?
36. That's 36. I told her it has been a roller coaster of a day.
Dang. I've
He
had to
was
show
trying to
my
validate
face
his mouth
way
with
too many times on this episode, and I don't understand why. Dog.
Oh Jesus!
Oh.
Oh Jesus!
Oh my
Well, at
gosh.
least I did say somebody check my math. As little as $3 a month, which comes up to be $36 a year, up
Wow.
to however much you want to donate, guys. Any little bit helps. We greatly appreciate it. If you have show ideas, email us at nocoopenshow@gmail.com. And if you have someone who you feel will make a great co-host, email us their information and what they can talk about, and we'll look into it. Like, we are a podcast that talks about real situations. We talk about what's going on in our community that we don't want to talk about. All right, we talk about the truth. Straight talk, no chaser. Like, you see how we get raw with it. We're gonna talk real.
Come on, check
I
me,
guess
dude.
who gonna check on
Rakia gonna check.
right.
Outside of her.
Definitely gonna check all of us.
Outside of her.
Right. Y'all, we have fun on the show because we want to talk about what's real. We celebrate those around us. We celebrate those in our lives. We celebrate everything. So, guys, support us, follow us, like the Facebook page, join the Facebook group. We talk to you. You can talk to us. Follow us. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram. Tell everybody. Tell your mama, daddy, sister, brother, cousin, auntie, uncle, baby daddies, baby mamas. Tell everybody about us. Tell your hairstylists, your barbers. I went and got a haircut. The barber was like, "Hey, aren't you the guy?" I was like, "Yeah, that's me." So shout out to the barber. He hooked me up. It don't look like it's time for another cut, but he was amazing. You guys definitely support the show. We greatly appreciate all you do. We're in season 3, going strong. It's time for our final thoughts. See how she keep us on track. I'm telling y'all, we're kids who y'all need in y'all life. If she moves to St. Louis, I got a job for her in St. Louis. Jesus Christ, she'll keep me on track. Final thoughts. Who's gonna go up first?
I don't have one. I'm gonna mute.
Arteria's final thought is, I'm not getting in trouble tonight. My name is Bennett, and I ain't in it. DJ, Doc, Chevette. Did I say Doc?
You
You
did.
did. You called your name.
Yeah.
So loop on in.
My
Right.
final thoughts. Trust the process, endure the process, see the process through. Don't hold grudges. I tell everybody, if you laugh, you won't have gas. Laugh. Chevette and DJ just laugh. Neither one of them have gas. They just let it go. See, if you laugh, it makes you feel better. My book is coming out real soon. It's called Disappointed Part 2. I promise you, you won't be disappointed in the book. It stands for Did Not Say Appointed. It will help you. It covers a lot of these things we talked about tonight. So catch it while you can. All right. Love you guys.
Oh, Terry, you're really not going.
Okay.
Okay, so then I'll go. I think we talked a lot about process, and I think that's the thing to drive home, if nothing else. Process is not bad, and people hound on me and hag on me because I'm the processy person. But processes are not bad. They're there for a reason. They help to bring structure and order, and in this instance, they help to bring us to a place of wholeness. Remember that your holistic health is what's important. Encompass all of those things. Healing and forgiveness do not just have to be physical. They're mental, it's emotional, and there's even a spiritual component that's associated with it. Be kind to yourself or be kind to others.
I love it. I'm just gonna close with the quote that a friend of mine posted. It said, "Remember, when you forgive, you heal, and when you let go, you grow." I just want to see everybody win, y'all. Let's grow together.
And there it is.
I'm gonna preach that too. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Terry, you really have nothing.
Listen, y'all don't want me to say nothing because a lot of this tied into a lot of the stuff that happened today. So I'm
Yeah. Say yeah.
Come on,
Okay.
I
Kay.
have nothing.
And y'all be sure to join us next week. It's gonna be a little lighter. Your boy's gonna show y'all something different. You are not gonna want to miss this one.
And because I can't see it. Rakia, could you put Kay's comment back up? I just want my daughter to close us out. Living proof of trusting the process. It will be a stormy ride, but at the end, at the end of it all, the sun will be shining on the other side.
Look at
I
Kay.
love
Come
it.
on, Kay.
I
That's my
love it.
daughter. I told you my baby is smart. All
That's a
right, guys.
word.
We'll talk to
Take
you
up an
guys
offering.
next week. Be here, same time, same channel. We'll be back. Can't wait to talk to you guys. We have a great topic next week. Y'all can see a different side of our system and processes department. I'm kind of
Ooh.
shocked about it. You know, so I might have to step into that role. I'm gonna have to do my research and be very diplomatic and systematic and processematic, and we'll get Brittany on. She'll have a documentary and everything. So, all right, guys, we'll talk to you next week. Be safe out there in these streets. COVID is not gone. Wear your mask, sanitize, social distance. We have Decepticon attacking us right now called Delta Con.
We got IHOP attacking us.
All kinds of things happening.
It's Delta Con.
Omarion.
I hate
Luana.
you. Omicron,
Luana.
Delta. It's too many variants, y'all. Be safe out there in these streets. Get vaccinated if you it's your choice. Get vaccinated. I recommend getting vaccinated personally. I am vaccinated and boosted. Um, do whatever you need to do. If you're not going to get vaccinated, be safe. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. Take a bath. Use soap. Protect yourself. All right, guys. Until next week. Remember, just when you thought you had life figured out, you realize you had what?
No clue.
No clue.
Y'all have a good week, yeah.